We are live. But my wife is not out here to paint, so I will leave the pre-stream up and I will talk to you guys for a minute. Just because you guys are already waiting and felt like we could start the conversation a little early, So, Sudra, am I saying your name right? I've never played League of Legends. I've watched some people play it before, but I have never played it. Cameron, there's signs of life. Don't worry. There are definitely signs of life over here. So, man, my game room is a mess. Like, I got to change my setup all the time just because I've got kids who come and play in here now. We do mini painting, but then I switch over to like streaming a game, so I got to like move my laptop where the painting stuff is set up, and so I'm always moving stuff around. It'd be nice to have two different setups that worked efficiently, but I don't have that. So, it's all right though. How are you guys tonight? Hopefully everything's going well for you. Felt like I was on Mars for a bit. Why'd you feel like that? Weird. Yeah, it's been a crazy day. Crazy few days. I did happen to have some get some printouts of character sheets for Pathfinder, so that was kind of cool. So now I've got 4 character sheets, 2 in color, 2 black and white. And yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. They're a little, you can tell the printer heads need to be aligned, but it's all good. It's a little bit weird. It's like the sheets are kind of blurry in a sense, but not really. Actually, you know what? I can show you since we're not streaming yet. So here's my printed character sheets. Oh, that's funny. I forgot. I gotta fix the camera because every single time I stream, it makes me do this. So let's do this. Let's set this down right there. This is the mini we're painting tonight, by the way. Little gnome summoner. Let's turn that autofocus off because autofocus does no good. No video feed. Yeah, I know. Roll stats. We're not ready to paint yet. Paula's still inside, so I didn't want to I can mess with the autofocus a little. So I didn't really want to go live quite yet, but there we go. That's better. That's better. There we go. Perfect. So you probably can't tell. I don't know if you can, but it's a little bit blurry on there when you look at the smaller stuff. But for the most part, it's still good to go. So I'm happy with it. So how are you guys tonight? Doing well? Staying safe? Hope everyone's doing good. I'm blue. Cameron says, I knew there was life. I just didn't know of where it was. LOL. I just woke up an hour ago. Really? Where do you live, Cameron? Because that would have been like 7:30 p.m. for me. Although, I didn't get out of bed till 2 p.m. today, so, being such a good father today and everything. No, I'm going to put it back to the priest. Actually, I'll put the break on. How about we do that? Is that one good? I'm still talking, though. Don't worry. Or should I leave it on? Should I just leave it on? I can leave it on if that's what you guys want. Let's just do that. I'll take my character sheets out of the way. And we'll just talk for a minute. And then when this goes up, I'll do a timestamp down in the description. Dude, there's protests everywhere right now. Of course. I'm sure there's protests in Michigan right now. Actually, I was just watching the Santa Monica protests on ABC a little bit ago before I came out here. So it's I 100% support the cause. Like I get the protesting, and I'm all for it. I think that we should protest. I think we should protest every day until something changes. I mean that's kind of crazy, but that's what we should do. Um, I have mixed feelings on the riots. On one hand, I'm like, hey, that's kind of what we get for not, you know, doing right by these people. However, with the riots, they're being basically instigated by people who don't support the cause. So it's tough. I'm really mixed on it, to be honest. I probably would never go in and break windows in a store out of protest. And I wouldn't rile up a bunch of people to do that either. So Cameron says, I live in Washington State. I got up at 4:30. LOL. The thunderstorm kept me up last night and again this morning. Oh, yeah. I'm sure, man. I'm absolutely sure of it. So, uh-oh. Wife texted me. So our baby's having a hard time falling asleep. That's one of the main reasons she's not out here yet. But yeah, I'm for the protests. The riots, I'm not for. The looting, again, I'm not for that either. It's tough though. It's hard, you know. Like I saw a video, I don't know what city it was, I want to say Boston, where there were random pallets of bricks just dropped in the street or on sidewalks, and there was no construction zones anywhere nearby. And in order to get these things there, it's not like you could just lift it, on your own. You needed like a forklift to move these pallets covered with construction bricks. And clearly, people are putting these things out there for others to, look bad, and that's my concern. And so now everyone's talking about the riots rather than George Floyd's death. So, but I don't want to talk about it all night. I mean, I'll give you another minute of it, but I want to. I want this to be an escape for all of us, myself included. I want to have a good time, and not saying we shouldn't strive for change or any of that, but I don't think my little stream is gonna lead to that. So, you know. In fact, I have friends who've canceled their streams because of this stuff, and it almost made me second guess. Man, should I even do my stream? Like, should I call it off in the name of this? But I want to do my stream. I do it for me, and I do it to be an outlet. Didn't this happen in '92 roll stats, or was that just in California? I feel like everything's definitely been raised to a whole new level. Like tensions are higher than I feel like they've ever been. To be honest, it's kind of scary. To be honest, and not like, yeah, I don't know. It's just everything feels so partisan too. I think that's what bothers me. It's you can't have a constructive conversation with somebody without it being a partisan issue. You know, like it amazes me. It doesn't matter what the issue is, but everything. Yeah, I know you're in Chicago. I was saying the race riots in '92 over Rodney King, was that only in California? I was like 7, so I don't know. I really don't know. But in Michigan, I do know a little bit about the riots in Detroit from the '60s, just from stuff I've heard. And the race riots in Detroit did not help. It actually made things worse. Feels like you had a mass exodus of mostly white people out of Detroit, and then the economy obviously tanked for the city of Detroit. It got worse and worse and worse. You had was it Dennis Archer in the '80s? Uh, stirred up a lot of drama against um, outsiders of Detroit. If you didn't live in Detroit, you were considered an outsider, and caused a lot of tensions there. Um, in fact, I don't even think Detroit's ever been the same. It's just not it's not Detroit's fine. I actually like going to Detroit. I have friends from Detroit. I actually like Detroit. Used to live 30 minutes out of Detroit for most of my life. But there's definitely a difference between people from Detroit and from other urban cities outside of Detroit, or just in general, people not from Detroit. There's an animosity sometimes from people from Detroit towards others, and it's definitely a me against the world kind of mentality sometimes in some of those people. And I'm someone who I hugely want Detroit to prosper. I want it to see a return of businesses, and I want it to be a good city to go to, really. So I've always hung on to hope for that. And in fact, I had an idea 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I was talking to another person who's kind of part of our community that I'm not really friends with anymore. But I was talking to him about an idea of starting something in Detroit, and it was an RPG thing. We were talking about like a gaming club to try and serve as like an outlet. And the reason I got the idea in the first place is because he was talking about one in some other city that was kind of like that, where it's funny. It actually sounds kind of like the Butterfly Project in Uganda, like that Con3 supports. But so I was talking to him, and he used to be my DM online, and for Tomb of Annihilation, and he was talking about this club that served as like a community center for people that, whether it was after school or whatever, they could come down to this community center for teens, and they could play RPGs and look at the books and whatever, and just hang out there. And it was a way to keep them out of trouble, keep them on the straight and narrow. They could come in and do their homework if they wanted to, things like that. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. And so me and my wife actually were talking about that very briefly. I mean, this was a very short conversation, but I thought it would have been cool to do something like that in Detroit as like a nonprofit organization. I still think it would be cool. I would love to start a nonprofit gaming community center thing for anyone. It really, not just kids. I think it'd be pretty awesome. What do you guys think? This guy's going to be so awesome when he's done. I'm really stoked. Can't wait to see it. But yeah, so this stuff it just really bothers me. I'd like to see some change. But anyways, positives. So in case you guys were not here for it, I did create my very first Pathfinder character last night. And I think it came out pretty good. It's not perfect by any means, but I think I did everything correctly. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, since right now Paula is still inside doing stuff with the baby. So let's go back over to this. I think I got to switch scenes. Let's see if this will work. I don't know if this is going to work. Screen share. Sure. Haha, it worked. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off real quick. Display capture. We will transform, fit to screen. Okay. So hopefully you guys are seeing this okay. So this is Zeke Ron the Destroyer. It's my very first Pathfinder character for 2nd edition. You can see he's a Goblin Unbreakable bounty hunter. And he's a barbarian with the Dragon Instinct. 22 hit points at first level. His armor class is 15 because he has Scale Mail. And his dex. I kind of like how proficiency in armor gives you a bonus to your armor. I really like that. Why does medium have an M? That shouldn't have been that. That should have been trained. Huh, interesting. I didn't realize I did that. My bad. But anyways, yeah, so I really like how that adds to the build a little. 25 speed. My attributes are fine. They're nothing exciting. But I'm cool with them. Melee attacks, I'm a +6 to hit. And then I'm 1d12 +3 damage. Cool with that. We learned a lot about scale mail during that stream. Did we? Did we though? No, I'm just kidding. Cone of Fire I put in there as a range strike. Should probably put more information in here, but it's okay. Or maybe I should put it somewhere else. I don't know. Longbow, +5 to hit. Which is only one worse than... Yeah, it's only one worse there. Yeah, that's... I mean, I think it looks cool. Unarmed strikes down there. So this was the part that I kind of got confused on a little bit, was how many feats I got and stuff like that. I got a little confused by that. I also got confused about which equipment I got, because it doesn't say it in character creation. You kind of have to jump to the equipment section to figure out what you get. So, you know, but that's okay. There we go. So this is all the equipment. I just put it all in here rather than mixing it wherever it needed to go. I have not sorted that out yet. I'll sort that out later. Here's what my character looks like. So it's got a mohawk, dark gray hair, red eyes, green spotty skin. His attitude is grumpy but remorseful. So in other words, he might snap at people, but then he'll be sorry for it later. He's ultimately a good guy, so he's not going to be like mean to people, but he might get grumpy. Beliefs: survival is a choice. Apples appear magically in the trash. He likes trash apples, dislikes red dragons. I will kill faster than you die. We got that from that quote from somebody in chat last night. If you want more scale mail fact, I can provide them to you. Dude, Sudra, bring them on. We love scale mail facts. We're totally cool with it. We are totally cool with it. All right. And then I don't have any spells. So that was that. So let's cut back to the mini painting with Paula, scenes here. Without Paula here. I don't know what's... She said she'd be out in like any second. She told me to set up the stream for the time I did. I don't know what's going on. These are the latest miniatures she has painted. This one's still in process. That one's done. The fountain is done. This one, I think she wanted to add a little bit of trim to this dark blue undergarment. So we'll see what she ends up doing, but she wanted to add some more to that. But those are the three she's currently working on. And then this, and that's Valeros, the iconic version, I believe. Let me look at that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the iconic Valero, whatever his name is from Pathfinder. Then there's this girl with 2 fireballs in her hands. And then this dragon, which I had made the request to paint it up like a warlock. So those 3 are next in the queue after she finishes that guy. So that's kind of cool. I'm pretty excited about seeing those get finished. I think they'll be awesome. Let's move those out of the way. There we go. All right. Perfect. But yeah, I'm always open to hearing more facts. I'm going to start opening my Pathfinder book. Whether she's out here or not, we're at least going to talk about something. At least talk about something RPG related. You know? You know what I'm saying? We've been going at it for 20 minutes now. 20 minutes. Watch. She's going to come out here, or she's going to text me and be like, hey, can we call the stream off? And I'd be like, well, I'm holding a stream right now in your honor. So, one of the things I wanted to do tonight while looking at this book is, in the past I looked at the races. See, it's such a habit. The ancestries, the backgrounds, the classes. I was going to look at possibly the skills now and maybe look over some of the feats that are in here. But yeah, it goes from page 66 with classes all the way to 232 for the skills. So, I don't know. That's a lot of pages about classes, right? Am I wrong? Like a lot. But I guess the classes include their class feats inside of them. So the organization of it's actually not that bad in that regard. I do have some gripes about the organization of this book. I will not deny that. I will eventually, once I've made my character and I've fully kind of understood where things are in this book and stuff, I will probably end up doing a review. And in my review, one of the negative things I will say is how um, it's not even creating a character. I feel like they could have made it a lot easier without changing the rules of character creation. I think just the organization of things and just adding more text into it, like in the step by step in the beginning, could have made for a better explanation. You know, it's not a deal breaker, but I could see that definitely turning people off. So, ooh, brownies are done. I forgot she also had brownies in the oven. Oh, and then Gabe is still crying. All right, I'm going to run inside real quick so I can get myself a nice little brownie. I will be right back. Okay, I am back. I'm eating a brownie. Here it is. It is delicious, in case you're curious. All that melty, chocolatey goodness. Mmm. And I had a shake earlier. I'm so bad. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So, Sudra says, if we consider Lorica squamata as default scale mail, we can say that scale mail was usually made from bronze, both tinned and plain, and from iron. And each scale was, I don't know, point. I think he meant point 0.5 to 0.8 millimeters thick. That's thin, actually. That's really thin. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about all that, man. There's a channel on YouTube that talks about historical like castles and weapons and armor and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And I've watched a few of his videos and I love them. Two-handed swords. Oh, since scale overlapped. Oh, hang on. My stream's acting. My thing's acting weird. There we go. Since scale overlap, they provided very good protection, especially against slashing weapons. Romans did extensively use scale mail in war against Dacian. Dacian was known for their brutal two-handed swords. Interesting. That's smart. Mm-hmm. Shade diversity. Shadiversity. Yep. Great channel. Love that channel. I don't consume a lot of content. Well, I do. But it's all over the place. I could definitely benefit from catching more stuff, you know, like watching more Shadiversity or even more RPG streams. But right now, my content consumption's all over the place. I'll watch like Gary Vaynerchuk for an hour during the day, you know, because he does these tea with Gary V's for like an hour or two every day. So I'll put those on and do dishes and stuff around the house. Kids can't stand it. But when I have that on, the kids tend to go play in their rooms or they go outside. So it leads to me getting some peace and quiet, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. The other stuff I kind of consume is some business stuff. You know, I've really found in the last like 5 or 6 years. I mean, in general, I've always liked learning about business and how to run a successful business and stuff like that. But in the last 5 or 6 years, I've really found that I like catching like YouTube channels about it. So like when I did real estate, I used to watch other realtors and real estate coaches teach different things. Car sales, same thing. So I've done car sales twice. Both times were very short. First time we moved. This time COVID hit. You know. Maybe it's not meant to be. But here I am, doing a bunch of YouTube videos. That was so good. So what do you guys say? You want me to talk about some of the skills tonight? Should I go into some of the feats? Maybe some spells? Could talk about the setting a little bit, how to play the game mastering, crafting and treasure. What do you guys want to hear about with Pathfinder? Would love to know. I had a feeling I should have set the stream for 9 o'clock. When she said 8:30, I thought that was awfully optimistic. Here we are. It is 9 p.m. Eastern. Still waiting on her. I feel like I should be helping her, but I don't know what I can do when the baby's crying in bed and she's just making sure he falls asleep. While eating a brownie. Brownies. Treasure. Who has treasure? Oh, you want to hear about the treasure in the core book? That is in here. Crafting and treasure. I could do that. Is that what people are interested in? Is that what we want? Is that what we really want? Because we can. Treasure. Going once. Going twice. All right, we'll talk about treasure tonight. All right, so let me flip to the treasure in crafting. So I think it all pretty much works like old school Pathfinder, to be honest. Sudra says, I really like Shade's videos about medieval misconception. Imagine this. Peasants need to really work hard only twice per year in sowing and harvesting time. Do they? See, I don't know anything about all that, man. Is that true? That is the question. Is it true? Ooh, game mastering section looks juicy. Juicy. Yup. All right. So what do you want in treasure? You want me to like just talk about the items? What are you thinking? What are your questions, Cameron, about treasure in Pathfinder 2nd Edition? I do like the art. It's got their iconic sorcerer right here. Look at that. I don't know if I can show it well. I'll set it here. And wow. This book is beautiful. I really love the art in this book. It's really good. Really, really good. I'll do a flip through this week. This Friday, we'll do a flip through Friday. First time in a long time. We'll go through this whole book, page by page. I'll talk about the art. I'll talk about all the cool stuff. It'll probably be a 30 to 45 minute video, but it'll be cool. And, maybe I'll even stream it. I don't know. I don't have a problem streaming a flip through. Oh, man. Okay, so they got item categories. Activating items. You can activate an item with the invested trait only if it's invested by you. If the item requires you to interact with it, you must be wielding it. If it's a held item or touching it with a free hand, if it's another type of item. Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Item categories. Alchemical items, ammunition, apex items, armor, companion items, consumables, held items, materials, oils, potions, runes, scrolls, shields, snares, staves, structures, talismans, wands, weapons, worn items. They wanted me to talk about treasure. And by they, I mean Cameron. Okay, so Cameron wants me to talk about mainly magic items and clever mundane ones. So he wants specific items. Okay. Well then. I don't know if they're cleverly mundane. I can look at the treasure by level. Everything go okay in there?
No, Lily got up with him. She came down, she was still awake. And she said, hey, do you want me to, sit with him? I could watch him.
Perfect.
And I said, okay, well, I guess you don't have school anymore, so.
Yeah, it's fine by me. We should have done that a half hour ago.
I know, I didn't think about that.
I told them, I was like, I thought 8:30 was a bit optimistic on her part. But I went with it. And I should have waited till 9.
No, you said 8:30, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to make this work.
Oh, no, when we got back, you're like, you might want to put it in for 8:30. And I said, okay.
Versus 8 o'clock is what I mean. You need to push it out.
Well, yeah, I didn't
Clearly,
know that. So, either way, it's okay. I talked for a little bit. We've got our friends in here. Cameron, Roll Stats was here. I think he bailed on us because he realized you weren't here to heckle me.
Oh, yeah.
So he left.
I
I think.
Clearly better if I'm here.
Yeah, but we've got Cameron and Sudra. Sudra was new the other night. I don't know if was he here Friday when you were in here?
I don't think so.
So then it was just last night. So Sudra, I think I met through DM Lair's stuff the other day.
Oh, okay.
Through his stream. And then he came over thanks to the raid. And then I think he was here last night for creating a Pathfinder character, which I've already went over my character.
Oh.
You missed that part.
So I missed it. Great.
Yep. You'll just have to discover him later. Sure, that sounds good. Level 18 treasure. I rolled a d20 for it. All right, you want me to jump straight to level 18? Skip all the low level magic.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
He rolled a d20.
Not as cool.
So there's 3 consumables. There's King's Sleep. It's a poison. It costs 4,000 gold. There's a Healing Potion Major. Costs 5,000 gold. And a Potion of Undetectability for 4,400 gold. Now, level 18 permanent items. A +3 greater resilient armor. Breastplate of Command greater. By the way, the resilient armor was 24,000 gold. This one's 22,000 gold. Cold iron armor high grade for 20 grand plus. Silver armor high grade 20,000 plus.
So what are you reading these off for? I'm sorry, I missed
We're just
that
talking
part.
about magic items. He just wanted to know the treasure for level 18.
Oh, it's just a random like
rolled a
treasure.
D20.
Would you get one of those, or you get any of those?
Well, no, these are just recommended levels, so it's like the DM would still have to put it in the treasure hoard.
Gotcha.
You can buy it though. In Pathfinder, you can buy all magic items.
Yeah. I was
Like-
just wondering, like, I didn't know if it was like, oh, if you're starting a level 18 character, you get to roll for this. or
I probably
something
would
like
not
that.
allow that.
I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't allow it. Doesn't mean other people wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, maybe. A held item is Maestro's Instrument Grater, 19 grand. Marvelous Medicines Grater, 19 grand. Possibility Tome, 22 grand. Thurible of Revelation Grater, 19 grand. Then under Rune, you got +3 Armor Potency. I don't know what that means. It's a rune, so I'm assuming you could put it on armor. I don't know. That's 20,560 gold. Greater Fortification. I keep whistling with my teeth. It's kind of annoying. 24,000 gold. Then we get into 2 shields. There's an indestructible shield for 24,000 gold and a reflecting shield for 18,000 gold. Then we get into a couple of wands. There's a Wand of Slaying. That's an 8th level spell, I think, for 24,000 gold. And a Wand of Widening, which is also an 8th level spell, for 24,000 gold. Couple weapons. Aurichalcum. I don't know.
What do these do though? Like,
Well, yeah, I'll
you
get
went
into it in a
through,
minute. I'll
like,
get into
the
it in a minute.
potion.
Yeah, I'll get
Oh,
into it.
okay. You're just going like
I'm reading them
super
all.
fast.
Aurichalcum. I don't know what an Aurichalcum is. But it's a high-grade weapon, 22,500 plus gold. The Storm Flash, Greater Storm Flash, I don't know. Then there's 3 worn things. You got the Goggles of Night Major, Inexplicable Apparatus, and Ring of Maniacal Devices Greater. That one's actually pretty cheap. That one's only 4,250. So, with that, it looks like everything is in order by the level, too. So, they're messing around outside. So if I go to 5, does any of that sound interesting to you guys? Do you know what those are? Do you want me to read
Well, what were
one
the,
or 2 things?
Like, yeah, what were the first couple things? Like,
Armors.
there was like a potion I had never heard of.
Yeah, because it's a level 18 potion. When they're poisons. Oh, there's 1 poison, 2 potions. Potion of Undetectability, that one?
Yeah, what was that? And there was like a king's speech or something.
Yeah, that's poison.
Gotcha.
All right. So, all right. Undetectability. It is makes you undetectable to divinations. Grants same effects as a mind blank, but without the bonus against mental effects. You also gain the effects of a 4th level invisibility spell, which protects against the invisibility spells of 8th level and lower, and has a DC of 36 against true seeing. Potion's effects last for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
That's a long time.
What's the Ring of Maniacal Devices? Okay, let's find out. Let's see if we can figure this out. These are in some kind of a weird order, but I can't tell. I can't tell what the order is. Because it's not really... Oh, other consumables. Okay, so I'm still in the consumables. Bag of holding. Immovable rod. These aren't consumables, though. I don't get It's, yeah.
You're having trouble over there.
It's not in the order that I think makes sense. No, okay, so then runes. Okay. Shields. Shields are before rings. Seems weird. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Here I am complaining about the order of things again. Are these rings? No, these are the runes. So rings should be before runes.
In making a character.
This has nothing to do with making a character.
You know, so you're like confused about.
No, you would think it would be in some sort of actual real order, like alphabetical. And it's not. So I just went from runes, which is an R. Then I did shields.
I mean, like, okay,
now
I know
I'm at
what the
stabs.
word starts with. I
right.
was just, you know.
So then after stabs, what's it going to be? Rings?
Wands. Did you do wands?
Nope, staff. Structures. Okay, that's alphabetical. Great. Specialty wands. Ooh. Install. Okay, I will do that.
You need an update.
No, Dell needs like 8 new things every day. Worn items. So then it goes into worn items. By the way, that would be belts, probably rings, you know. Ooh, there we go. Alchemist goggles. Bracers of armor. Oh, those are kind of cool. Stiff leather arm guards grant you a +1 item bonus to armor class and saving throws. A maximum dex modifier of +5. You can affix talismans to bracers of armor as though they were light armor. Okay, I don't know what that means. Don't know. Rings of maniacal devices. Here we go. Ring of maniacal devices. This ring seems like simple tarnished brass, but enhances your curiosity about traps and devices of all kinds. You can use an interact action to pull a set of thieves' tools from the ring. These tools appear in your hand and fold back into the ring if they would leave your possession. They grant you a +2 item bonus to thievery checks to disable device and to pick a lock. And the ring's insights grant you the same bonus to crafting checks to craft and repair snares and traps. Activate, it takes 10 minutes, frequency once per day. Effect, you create a 4th level glyph of warding containing fireball. You can have only 1 glyph of warding from a ring of maniacal devices active at a time. Even if you have multiple rings and the spell ends if you lose your investiture in the ring. It's a level 11 right here. Which is 1,175 gold. If it's the greater ring of maniacal devices, it's now level 18, 4,250 gold, and it grants a +3 bonus instead of +2. And then it creates an 8th level glyph of warding containing your choice of the either prismatic spray or 7th level fireball. So that's pretty sweet. All right, Sudra he knows about the weapon. It's a mythical metal from ancient Greece. It was made in Atlantis, and weapons of gods was made from it. Archaeologists found sunken ship and found real-life aurichalcum ingots in it. It is alloy made from zinc, copper, with traces of nickel, lead, and iron. Interesting. This guy knows all sorts of good historical facts.
Yeah.
Yes. The other night on stream, I think it was either Cameron or somebody else, and they were talking about how there's no such thing as scale mail or something. And so then I think it was Sudro who came in and was like, actually, that's not true. It was awesome. He said he Googled it. Well, you know what?
I was going to say, I was
figured,
wondering
because that was such a good write-up.
He wasn't just like, you know, like they weren't just going out to Google.
Google Foo is a skill. It is. There are people who don't know how to use Google.
I mean, that's true, but, you know.
Lugal from Hot Tub Time Machine. That was such a good movie. Did you ever watch that movie?
Yeah, we watched it together, but, like, I didn't really get into it.
Oh, it was so good. I saw it in theaters with the bouncers from Pub back in the day. Me, Evan.
Jake.
No. James. I think it may have been just me, Evan, and James, actually.
Cameron is saying he didn't say anything about scale mail.
Okay, then it must have been Melchior. He must have been the one. It was either Cameron or Melchior. And if Cameron's saying it wasn't him, then it had to have been Melchior. It's okay, man. It's all right. It's all good. I was telling them that those were the next 3 in the queue over there that you had set us over on the side.
Oh, I mean that day I was like, oh, these look interesting.
Oh, no, they don't.
I might change my mind.
It may have been someone with Wise in his name. Who is Wise? Who has Wise in their name? I don't remember. No, I think it was Melchior. Melchior. Wasn't it? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. All right. I'm going to talk about my character one last time for Paula. So...
Yeah, because you know I'm not going to go back and watch it.
I know you're not. I mean, you don't need to hear about it anyway. But anyways, so his name is Zeke Ron the Destroyer. He's a goblin.
Did you pick that name?
Someone in the chat called him Zeke Ron, like as one long word. Mm-hmm. And I said, he's a goblin. He needs one syllable for a name because he's not real smart, right? And so then I was like, how about Zeke? And I was going to spell it Z-E-K. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, I'll just call him Zeke Ron the Destroyer. So I just made it his 2 names instead of 1 name. Anyways, Unbreakable Goblin, Bounty Hunter, Barbarian, Dragon Instinct. His armor class is a 15, which is 10 plus his Dex mod, which is 2.
Okay. And
then proficiency, which is 3. So proficiency is really interesting how it works in here. So I am trained in scale mail. All right. You can be an expert, master, or legendary, right? So the way it works is if you are untrained in something, you get no bonus in it other than your ability mod. Like if it's Dex, you'd add that, right?
Okay.
If you're trained in it, it's 2 plus your level that applies to it as a bonus.
Oh, so it scales.
Yeah, so every level it's going to go up.
So cool.
Right.
That's great. I love that. I'm sorry. I've always hated the fact that it's like, oh, that's the best you're ever going to get.
Right. Well, I mean, your proficiencies go up in other games too, though.
No, but I'm just saying, like...
Right. Exactly. So it's kind of cool because you could have, in theory, I mean, it's not possible, but you could have somebody who's like legendary, say at lower levels, and it's 8 plus their level. However, you could have somebody trained who's like level 20, but because they've got more experience, they might be better than the person, you know, like,
right.
So sense. Actually having the levels is important. And that's how they get away from putting skill ranks into those, like in the past. Remember how you used to have to go 1, 2, 3, you know, I'm level 5. I'm going to put 4 ranks in this and 1 in another and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do like how they did that with the armor class in this. So my proficiency at first level is 2 because I'm trained plus my level. So right now at first level, I have a 15 AC because it's 2 from the Dex, 3 for my proficiency, my trained proficiency. Technically, I'm trained in unarmored too, so would basically be the same thing, actually. Yeah, it would have been the same whether I use scale mail or I'm unarmored.
Oh, then you might as well be unarmored.
I think, actually, let me pull up the scale mail. I may have done this wrong.
Oh, good thing you were going through to explain it to me.
I probably didn't do it wrong. I probably did not do it wrong. I'm just saying. His scale mail is scaling. Yeah, see? There you go. Armor's Dex cap. Oh, okay. So unarmored defense gets no AC bonus. Okay, I'm using scale mail, so I get a +3 AC bonus. So interesting. Okay, so maybe I put that under item.
I don't know, but could you not shake the table like that?
How did I shake the table? How did I shake the table?
You just like set your arm down right as I was trying to do his eye, so appreciate it.
I think I did it wrong.
Appreciate it.
Raven, LOL Raven. Who's Raven? What?
That's what he said you could call him.
It was someone with Wise in name. I'm assuming he means like Raven Wise or something like that.
No, scroll up.
Why do I need to scroll
up? Because you missed the conversation about names. You were talking too much.
This is... What are you talking about?
Scroll up. Keep going. Right there.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, whatevs. Oh, and it's at top chat again. No, that needs to say live chat. Gosh. Okay, there we go. I think I did that wrong. Yeah, so that would be a +3 from item. I think. I don't know. It's 18 though.
I'm just doing things wrong over here, left and right.
Well, it doesn't have a spot for AC bonus. It has proficiency. And then it has cap and dex cap, which the cap is 2, so I'm just going to put that in there as well. See, that's... The way they did, the people who did this fillable sheet kind of irritates me. Kind of irritates me a little bit.
Yeah, why is that?
Because this should be 2 separate boxes, not one big box, and I shouldn't have to hit space till I get under cap. It just bothers me. But anyways, it's 18, so that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, that's... Yeah, and I guess I would do the character sheet different too.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
I'm just making mental notes because I'm going to eventually do a review of it all.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm going to do my gripes and the things I like and just be honest with what I think.
Yeah, I would expect nothing else.
Yeah. Shield grants a circumstance bonus to AC, but only when the shield is raised. Yeah, I get that. I get it. Your armor statistics are based on the material it's predominantly made from. It's not likely your armor will take damage, as explained in item damage on 272. That's the other thing that's kind of cool, is that you can deal damage straight to the armor or the shield.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hardness, hit points, and BT. What's BT? BT. I don't know what BT is. Must be like breakthrough or something. Show me what BT is. 272. Supposedly where it talks about it. So let's see. Nope, that's all bulk stuff. Broken threshold. An object is broken when damage has reduced its hit points below its broken threshold. Gotcha. So that's how it would get the broken condition. So it's... Okay. Gotcha. It's basically half of the item's hit points. It means it's got the broken condition. It still imposes penalties and limitations normally incurred by carrying, holding, or wearing it, For example, broken armor would still impose its dex modifier cap, check penalty, and so forth. If an effect makes an item broken automatically and the item has more hit points than its broken threshold, that effect also reduces the item's current hit points to the broken threshold. Okay? I don't know. Alright, let's look at some spells.
Ooh, that's a good call.
Yup.
Okay, so how does it divide up the spells? Like,
The
are
spell
the spells
list?
in alphabetical order, or are they sectioned off by... Oh, that's kind of cool.
Is it just the spell list?
And then there's more detail later on?
I don't know. Hang on. So spell lists are sorted by school, just like 5e was, by school, and then with the levels like cantrips and so on. However, next to them, it says something like, for example, Arcane 3rd level Earthbind says, bring a flying creature to the ground. So it kind of gives you at least something about it. You know, so you get an idea for what it does.
Without having to look through all of them. That
Right.
is really convenient.
Now, looking at spells, actual spells, they are just in alphabetical order.
Right, which makes sense because you have
They're
a
not
short
in
summary.
level order or anything like that, just alphabetical order.
That's fine. Because
Right.
you have that short summary, which is really nice and, you know.
Yes. That is true. So it doesn't look like spells are divided by class at all. Like, class doesn't matter, it looks like.
Well, when you go...
Like, any
it
spellcasting
does.
class can probably get these.
No, it does, because when you went through and you were reading about the spells, it said, oh,
Choose
you
them
can
from the
get
occult
this
category.
Occult, yeah, or, you know.
Right, but it's not, the spells themselves are not organized by class. So, whatever your deity is if you're a cleric, or whatever your specialty is, you basically have access to any spell, technically. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's not organized by class. Like in 5e, if you're a wizard, you can only pick from the wizard spell list, or your domain gives you automatically these couple
Right,
spells.
but there are some lists that, I mean, there are some wizard spells that are also, you know, like
Some.
warlock and sorcerer spells overlap in areas, and in other areas they don't. Like, it's the same thing, it's just, it doesn't seem as apparent.
It wouldn't overlap in this, though, the same way.
How do you know? Did you look through every list and make sure that
You
there's
think
no
something's going to
overlap?
show up under occult and then it's going to show up under necromancy?
Well, I don't know. What were the different sections? Like, go back.
Primal, occult,
But weren't there also...
divine, and arcane. No, that's it. There's 4 types, 4 categories of spells.
Oh.
Yeah. 4 essences. Matter, spirit, mind, life. I don't know what that means. Magical traditions. Arcane, divine, occult, and primal. Those are your 4. So again, you can do anything. And I think when I read it too, you still got to choose like outside of those that it said. If I remember right. Okay, and then there are different tags though. So magical schools are tags that are associated with spells though. Abjuration, conjuration, you know, the typical.
Oh, underneath those areas.
Right, those are the magical schools.
Okay,
And those
so
are
that's
tags.
why I was getting
So
it.
like polymorph and transmutation are animal form.
So that's
Abjuration
why I
for alarm.
thought, yes, so other casters use schools. Some of them use those like domains that you were listing off, but some of like I feel like
This shows up as arcane, divine, occult, and primal. So alarm can be all 4 of the traditions.
Right.
It's an abjuration school though.
Yes, I know. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But I don't think, unless maybe just wizards have to do it based on that, the schools.
I feel like when we were looking at one, there were a couple of them that were based on schools.
We looked at sorcerers.
Yeah, I know,
was the
but
only one
when
we
you
looked
were
at.
reading through it before,
Yeah, I don't know.
like not on stream.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
I feel like you.
How's he looking? You like him? He's got some personality.
He's looking okay. He's not done yet. He needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be cool, though, when he's done. You know, I didn't even end up sharing this around, really. I should have. But I didn't.
I mean, it's okay.
I'm a bad guy.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Having fun.
You're so weird.
Why would I not have fun? That's what we do here.
So weird sometimes.
No way. So I'm planning on doing, just like I did with D&D, I think I'm going to do Pathfinder, like a Pathfinder Basics series. I'm going to focus in on stuff and do videos for it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was messing around with some thumbnails today because I like the thumbnail I made for my character creation video. I was like, you know, I should do like a tutorial series. And as I learn little things, do a video to help drill it into my own head. You know what I mean?
Yep, because that helps you remember too.
Exactly. And then I should be good. So Cameron says, you want to take a look at level 9 spells to see if they have any new ones? Oh, of the high level? Well, I can tell you right now, there's definitely new spells in here. I mean, Pathfinder does spells a little differently. I don't really know, though, spells in D&D, so I couldn't sit here and tell you one is from Pathfinder and one is not.
Do you need some help?
And plus, they go to level 10 spells in Pathfinder.
So let's start out with like first level.
Well, he wants to look at the highest level.
Oh, okay.
That's why he said you want to take a look at the level 9 spells, see if they have any new ones.
Okay, so what are...
Primal. Cataclysm. Evocation. Call an instant damaging cataclysm.
Okay.
Nature Incarnate. It's a transmutation. Turn into a massive avatar of nature. I don't know what that is. It sounds cool.
Okay.
Primal Herd Transmutation. Transform willing creatures into mammoths. Primal Phenomenon. Divination. Request for nature to duplicate primal spells. Remake. Con. I don't remember what school that would be. Recreate a destroyed object. Revival. Necromancy. Heal creatures in an area and return the dead to life temporarily.
I mean, so I think...
I think all of those are its own thing.
I think Revival exists with a different name.
Maybe.
And I think Remake exists with a different name, but I don't think the rest of them. So you should specify that's a level 10 spell. What level do you have to be to get that type of spell, though?
Level 20.
Level 20, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back and look at a chart. Wizards, they get their 10th level spell at 19. So at basically every other level, they get a new spell. So at first and second level, you can only cast first level spells. At third and fourth, you can cast second. Yeah, you see, it kind of goes up every other. Is how they do it. I don't know. I always thought it was stupid that spellcasters only cast spells at half their level. Like, I feel like if I'm a level 20 wizard, there should be level 20 spells.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not sure I ever understood that.
It's
either,
just silly how they do that. I got a message from a friend tonight. Just like 2 seconds ago. Curious to hear your thoughts on Pathfinder 2e. I bought the playtest way back when, and while impressed with it, I was not fond of the world leveling up as your characters did. I prefer a much more open, dangerous world. How was the core book? I'm responding. In fact, I'm letting him know that, like, right now we are discussing spells.
We're literally talking about it on stream right now. Join us.
Do it. We are live painting minis and talking about Pathfinder 2E because, you know, that's just what we do right now. That's what we do right now. Yeah, I just always thought it was kind of silly. It almost felt like every time you level up as a spellcaster, it should open up the spells that you're able to pick from that level. And so rather than just having like spells of first level and second level, when those second level spells are meant for third level characters, they should just space them out even more.
I think
you know what I mean?
So that you can say like, oh, you get one spell from this level and it makes it easier, and you know, so that, oh, okay, well, I don't have one spell slot for fourth level, and I only
spell
have
slots
one.
Are dumb in general.
You know, I only have one fourth level spell, so.
Yeah, but I always thought they should make spells based on like a mana point system. You know, like just a number that you subtract from. And to cast first level spells uses literally 1 point. Second level spells could be 2 points. And just have a general overall pool. You know what I mean? Because the whole spell slot thing is silly to me too.
I mean, I don't disagree because it's sort of silly. Like, oh, well, the only spell I have left is invisibility, so.
I guess I will hold on to that till I need it.
Like, well, why can't you use your power to do something else productive during this time?
Right.
Because then you're just useless.
Yeah. Cameron says, I'm with you on that. The level differences between class and spells and calling them spell levels makes it confusing for new players. They should be called tiers or something, if not one level per. Yeah, or just keep it as levels, but rather than having it go up, you know, by however many points, you know, whatever, just have it go up with the character. Like, when you hit second level, it opens up the second level spells. Now, obviously, you'd have to adjust which levels show up there. Like, currently, second level spells are not meant to be used at second level. So you move those to third level. And then you take some of the first level spells and make them second level. And you just, you know, you just spread them out throughout the levels a little more.
Yeah, you think so?
That's what I think should happen. And then I think, rather than saying you get so many spells per day to cast, like in these slots, just again, change it to mana. Welcome, Questwise. Actually, Questwise is who I was just talking to. So thanks for joining, dude. So Questwise had said that he had looked into the playtest, and he actually thought it was really well done. He liked it. He was impressed. But he wasn't fond of the world leveling up as your characters did. He prefers a much more dangerous world. And then how is the core rulebook? So I don't think that changed. Like, no matter what, you're going to see that everything's kind of going to scale with your characters. Just like in the past 3.5, 3rd edition, original Pathfinder. That's just what you're going to see. We were just talking not too long ago about your proficiencies, though, and how those apply to things like your armor class and stuff like that, and how that scales. So like if you're not trained, it's literally just your attribute bonus and whatever you roll on a d20. However, if you say you're trained in your armor, you're going to get 2 plus your level automatically to your armor class, as well as the AC bonus from the armor, and then your attribute mod, which is Dex, to your armor as well. So you could, if you're trained in something, it doesn't have to be any special armor, but you could be level 20 just trained in your armor, and you've got, you know, minimum 20 AC from that, plus the AC bonus of the armor, plus say your Dex mod is 2. So you're talking about maybe 22, 24, 25 AC, right? Well, I'm sorry, it would have been 35 because your base is a 10. So you'd have like a 35 AC, you know? So yeah, but if you are legendary with it, you're going to have 8 plus your level. So there's 28 plus your base of 10. So there's 38 plus your Dex mod, whatever the cap is, plus your AC bonus on top of that.
Okay.
So again, you could be talking about some good numbers, you know, in the upwards of 40s you know?
Yeah, it continues to go and go.
Yes, it does. And that's how the math works. But people that play 5th edition complain, some of them, not everybody, they complain that once you get higher level, everything hits everything no matter what. You know what I mean? It's basically who goes first, who gets their abilities off first. You know, because the armor class doesn't continue to scale. And a lot of people think also it's harder to balance mathematically.
I was just going to say, it seems like it'd be more difficult from like a DM or GM, whatever, perspective to make it work out correctly.
Right. Like we've played with DMs who complained that they could not balance encounters mathematically with 5th edition D&D. Because the math just didn't work, no matter if they used Xanathar's guide, whether they used the Dungeon Master Guide numbers, no matter what, they could not balance it. Mm-hmm. And they were frustrated, and it ruined the experience for them as a DM. You know? I mean, either way, you kind of got to know what your characters are good and bad at, right? Like, if you have a whole group that's got resistance to fire, well, it doesn't matter if you're throwing fire at them. It's not going to do much, right? But mathematically, you can still figure out the damage and stuff, you know, in Pathfinder. Like, okay, I know roughly their armor class is going to be this. I know that they're probably going to be able to hit things around this tier.
Right.
Like, the math actually works.
Yeah. Might make it, I mean, I don't know.
You still have some abilities to look out for.
Yes.
But the balancing using math
I think
works.
that aspect makes it difficult, too, because there's so many more abilities that it's got to be difficult to
take into account,
to remember not necessarily remember everybody's abilities, but just like know what everybody has, because there's so many abilities and so many different things that you're kind of looking out for.
Maybe, but I don't think yes and no. Like, think about it. So I'm gonna know that my barbarian can do a sweeping attack and hit anything within 5 feet of him, right?
Right.
So there's one of the abilities, right, that I need to kind of take into account when I'm making an encounter. So maybe I throw a couple extra of the mooks in there, the lackey bad guys, the little kobolds or whatever, because I know he's going to take out 3 of them on one turn. You know what I mean? So basically, 2 are just there for a narrative.
Right.
You know? So that's kind of what I mean when you got to take those things into account. Or you know that you're, like in 5th edition, I know a paladin can smite and do mega damage. Well, I could throw a monster that's going to take up all that damage because of that paladin.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, I think because there's so many extra feats and so many extra abilities, it just makes it a little bit harder to keep track of. I'm not saying that it's not possible or anything like that. It's just what you have to, you know, sort of, like, figure out. And sometimes that's hard at first. Like, I don't usually use the math to put together like an encounter or anything like that, but that's usually because it's like, oh, I bet you this will probably be fine.
Right.
Like you can sort of gauge, oh, okay, I'm used to seeing this at about this point, and you know, it works out the majority of the time. So like
Nate's here. Welcome, Nate. Glad you joined us. Yeah, I think, so Cameron says, I have yet to run into a CR system that works. People just gotta adapt things. But Luke doesn't seem to have a problem balancing encounters by math. So I don't know what that says, LOL, by 5e math. So I have no problem balancing encounters with 5e, but I don't do it by math. Like, I do not try to use the CR system in 5e. I don't. I just try, because one, I use magic items. I also let my players use feats. Both of those are technically optional for 5e. Like, the CR system, from my understanding, does not take into account any magical items, and it doesn't take into account feats. So when it comes to that, I've always just kind of been like, all right, so what are my characters good at? What's their armor class? And that's kind of what I go with. What's their armor class? And I don't feel like I have a problem. Maybe when I first started running it, but even then, I feel like my encounters were more weak than they were OP. Because when we started playing 5e, I don't think I dropped anybody, did I?
No, but when we first started
Kobolds
playing,
roughed you guys up, though, a lot.
I think you were more concerned about dropping people. I don't think you're very concerned about dropping people now. Like, maybe.
No, because I think I've realized the
But-
system is very survivable. Like, if you have a cleric with Healing Word, then it doesn't matter if the fighter 30 feet away dropped.
Yeah, but I feel like you just worry about it less in general.
Yeah, but we still don't have a ton of character deaths. We do in Descent. But in my other games, we don't have a ton of deaths.
Yeah, but I think in Descent, it's just...
That's because of how the module is written.
I mean, I missed my first character, you know, like, or whatever. My first character died the first night, but since then I've been fine. It's really just Luke who has a problem. He has a chronic problem, and so I think we can tell why, like, he has that issue, because, like, he also doesn't want to talk to anybody or talk his way through anything. He's just like, let's kill it.
Right.
Like, well, maybe that's not so smart.
Did you do the trim on the Dragonborn you wanted to do?
I didn't do anything yet.
Oh, okay,
No.
I just was asking.
I didn't get there. I was trying to make this guy not look so jacked.
What do you mean jacked? What's wrong with him?
He looked jacked earlier today
He looks great.
when I sat down, so...
Oh, well, that's because...
See, even Nate said, you have no problem killing us. It's true, though. Like...
He says I approve. I don't have a problem with that. You're right. But at the same time, that's a module. It's different. Like when I run my Wednesday game, I've dropped players, which forces me to roll on the permanent injury table. One character lost his foot, but nobody has died. I don't think. No, nobody died in that campaign. That character's dropped twice. So, I forgot to make our wizard roll on the permanent injury table against the Black Dragons.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
You just remembered.
I did. Thank you for the reminder.
The end of this staff is really supposed to
I'll have to
look
roll
like...
on it next
Can
time.
you pull up a picture of this dude painted?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but he's a Dwarf Summoner for Pathfinder. So...
This chair is squeaky.
I know it is. That's why I need a new chair. The other chair is squeaky and wobbly. Here you go. Look, they even got the detail.
You know what?
I'm kidding.
We need to have realistic expectations here.
I have very realistic expectations.
No.
You wanted to see it. I showed you. Here's another one that has the detail, it looks like. Not really, but it's there. Here you go. Here's the back of the one, if you wanted to see the back of it.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is super cool.
That's really cool.
Okay, thanks. Now you're going to look at mine and you're going to be like, wow,
No,
that is
you
really
know
pretty.
that I'm completely fine with it. I do not hold you to the standard of these people who have, like, magnifying glasses when they paint miniatures for such intricate details. Here's one that was not done like that. Good? See what you need to see?
Do you have the other side?
Not yet. Actually, maybe if I click on that, it'll show the other side down below. So Pathfinder 2nd edition, quest-wise, I don't think you're going to be satisfied if you didn't like that everything's scaled up with it. Like when by scaled up, do you mean like goblins would be just as powerful? Because I don't think that's the case. I don't have the monster manual yet, so I haven't looked at how that stuff works. Right now, what I've looked at every page. I've read the ancestries, the backgrounds, the classes. I've looked through the skills a little more in depth. I have not spent a lot of time on the feats. And I've not spent basically anything else really. I've not spent a lot of time on. So I don't know exactly how the balancing of encounters goes. I don't know how you do it when they level up, or anything like that. But I will probably do videos on it as I learn because, again, like we said earlier in the stream, doing videos on stuff tends to help me understand a system more. So, yeah. It's cool though. Like I really think this is going to be a fun system as a player. I really do. There's some things that are a little confusing to me because I didn't really play a lot of 3rd or 3.5. In fact, I didn't play any. I played a little bit of Pathfinder. I did some Pathfinder Society with one of my characters. I used to go up to a place called Big Box Games or something up there. I don't remember.
That sounds right.
I think that's it. But I used to play there a little bit. And then I tried to run it. Nate knows. I think we did like 2 or 3 sessions. And then I ran solo games for you before all that as I was trying to learn the system. So, minimal experience with the older edition and that style of game. But I think I'll figure it out. Oh, here's a cool one that's purple. That doesn't have the amount of detail. He did it like a silver on the ends.
Yeah, what's... I gotta fix those sections. Yeah, I haven't done anything with those.
It's okay.
What,
What? You have a question. What was your question?
No, I'm trying to figure out what the little thing up by his hat is.
Oh, like a pen or something?
It's like a feather.
On the one side of his head?
Yeah. It's like a little feather in his cap.
Here, we won't look at the miniature then. I'll look at artwork. I can't tell what it is. I'll find something better. I can't tell.
It's a pen. It's a quill.
It's a quill pen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I figured it out on accident. Very cool. Anyways. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm good.
What?
I don't know. Oh, Nate, what do you think about spells topping out at like 9th level, 10th level? Like, are we crazy to just think spells should be associated with whatever level you're at? Like, if you're a level 20 wizard, your best spell should be a level 20 spell, not level 9 or 10. I think that's so silly.
No, I mean, I think it's silly, but like I get why they're doing it.
It's because they
trying to block
did it based on
together
spell
with spell slots. And
rather
that's
than
the
what
only
makes
way,
sense to new players.
And that's the only way it would make sense. Is if you did it that way.
Yeah.
But I understand where it's sort of silly that they're called, oh, it's a 10th level spell that I don't get until, you should get that at level 10, right?
Right.
I mean, that would make it more, like...
I don't know.
Intuitive.
Correct. So one day, I will make a system that is better about that. All right, playing the game. I'm going to look at this chapter. Playing the game starts on page 443.
After you have made your character.
Yes.
You have now been invited to play the game.
So, quest-wise, if you're still there, one of the things I dislike about this book is I don't think it's like character creation is as clear as it should be. I also have some gripes about the organization of the game. I think it's kind of weird that you get like how to do combat in the equipment section at the start of it. And you get your class kits mentioned after all the equipment, like after all the weapons and armor and everything. Then it goes into your class kits that you can buy when you create a character, basically. And I thought that was kind of silly too. So there's some organizational things that kind of bother me. And again, certain things about character creation are very confusing. There's nothing in the races, classes, the beginning when it's talking about how to create a character that talks about buying your equipment. And you have to buy your equipment. There's no quick selection, which is fine. I get that. That's how most games always were. But But yeah, so that was kind of confusing. But there are kits. There's class kits. So if like you're a fighter, you can opt to the fighter kit, and it does have some options within the kit itself. So in fact, you know what? Before I jump into this playing the game section, let's go back to equipment. So equipment is right there. Oh my gosh. There it is. The organization of the book is tough, but I do like the what are these called? Like tabs, the colored tabs for the sections. That's kind of nice. So when you go to equipment, the very first stuff on the equipment talks about currency, talks about prices, and then it tells you what your starting money is. So everybody starts off the game with 15 gold. Then it talks about carrying and using items, bulk, basically rules. It's just rules that associate with equipment. Changing equipment actions, like the type of action it is, the broken condition, shoddy items. And then it gets into your armor. Tells you how armor class works. Donning and removing, statistics, blah, blah, blah. And I'll do a flip through on this Friday. You'll see my full flip through of the whole book, and I'll talk about different things I've read so far. Talks about damaging armor, shields. Critical hits and stuff are under weapons, multiple attack penalty. Because again, you get 3 action economy. Unarmed attacks, improvised weapons, stuff like that. Oh, then I get charts of weapons. Charts of weapons are fine. Get a lot of different options. Then it goes into weapon traits after that. Critical specialization effects. Then it gives you a write-up for every single weapon. Like a couple sentences about every single one. Then it gets into gear. And then after the gear are the class kits.
Well, I mean, where did you think that they were going to be?
I don't know. When it talks about the gold you get at the front of the chapter, if it's talking about that, it should put it there maybe.
I mean, yeah, but maybe like it's
or maybe
the equipment lists and stuff.
Yeah, but it's after everything. If I'm creating a character, I feel like it should be front loaded.
Yeah.
With the other stuff. I don't know. There's nothing that even tells me from the class. Like, I don't know. I feel like class kits should probably be in the class.
Where to go?
I feel like it should be in the class. It should tell you you can either buy all your starting gear or your class kit.
It should tell you like here's the page it's on.
Right, it could do that too. Yes. But the thing is, so after you get through the armor and everything, then you get. So I started buying all my equipment the other night, and then I discovered class kits. That's my point. I had like almost all my gold spent, and then I was like, oh. And I even said in the video, I'm like, it would be nice if I could like at least buy some kits or something. And then someone's like, actually, there's class kits at the end of the section. I was like, what? Like, oh, okay. So then I went to Barbarian. I'm like, yeah, it's basically what I got. I was like, so Barbarian, if you buy the Barbarian kit, it's 3 gold and 2 silver.
I'm gonna go check on the kids.
Okay, you get 4 javelins, Adventurer's Pack, Grappling Hook, Tooth Sheaths, and then for options that you can add onto the kit, Great Axe, Great Club, Great Sword, Battle Axe, and Steel Shield. Oh, Battle Axe and Steel Shield. And then you have to, like, when you add those to the kit, you add gold that you're spending. But yeah, it just kind of was like, what? I didn't like where it was located. That's all. It's just not user-friendly for in my opinion. But yeah, and I mean, it gets into some more equipment stuff, alchemical stuff, cost of living, services, animals. Again, so they mix the rules in with the sections, which isn't a complete turnoff to me. It just was a little bit weird, is all. So anyways, playing the game. So general rules, making choices, checks, game conventions. The GM has the final say. Specific overrides general. Rounding. You may need to calculate a fraction of a value like having damage. Always round down unless otherwise specified. For example, if a spell deals 7 damage and a creature takes half damage from it, that creature takes 3 damage. Okay. Multiplying. When more than one effect would multiply the same number, don't multiply more than once. Instead, combine all the multipliers into a single multiplier, with each multiple after the first adding 1 less than its value. For instance, if one ability doubled the duration of one of your spells and another one doubled the duration of the same spell, you would triple the duration, not quadruple it. Oh, that makes sense. Duplicate effects, ambiguous rules. Again, it's talking about proficiency rank. I actually kind of like the way proficiency works. I think it's very logical. It makes a lot of sense to me. So if you weren't here for that, it was trained is a +2, and it's plus your level. Expert is a +4 plus your level. Master is a +6 plus your level, and legendary is +8 plus your level. And this applies to everything: weapons you use, armor, skills, so on and so forth. To me, it works. Determine the degree of success. Determining degree of success. So if you beat something by 10, that's considered a critical hit or a critical success. And it's a critical fail if you fail by 10 or more. If you rolled a 20 on the die, your result is 1 degree of success better than it would be by numbers alone. So if you roll a 1 on the d20, your result is 1 degree worse. This means that a natural 20 usually results in a critical success, and a natural 1 usually results in a critical failure. So in other words, if you're not trained with something, and say you're level like 20, you're fighting a dragon with like an armor class 45 or something, right? We'll say the armor class is 31, okay? You roll a critical hit 20 plus your bonus to hit. Say it's a 5, so it's a 25. Rather than being a critical failure, because say it's 10 under the armor class of the monster, it would be just a failure, right? If it was normally would have been a failure with the critical success, you would actually hit it now. It wouldn't count as a critical hit, but it would count as a hit. So it moves it up or down a tier, if that makes sense. So you'd have like critical fail, success, critical success. And so those are the 4 tiers. Might sound confusing, but in practice it actually makes a lot of sense. It works. Multiple attack penalties. So this is something that's kind of cool. So your first attack does not get a penalty. However, if on your second action in your 3-action economy you attack again, it's a -5 unless the weapon is an agile weapon. Then it would be a -4. If it's a third attack in the group of 3 or any more, so say you get a feat that allows you to do 2 attacks on one, it's a -10. And that's any hit after that would be -10 in that round. Agile would be -8. We were talking about it on stream the other day. The Ranger has a really awesome, I think it's called Flurry, which lowers the penalties for subsequent attacks. And I thought that was a really, really, really awesome ability. And then if you can figure out how to get like 4 or 5 attacks, that'd be awesome. Because most classes, most characters, monsters, if they're hitting you for a third or trying to hit you for a third time, they're mostly going to miss. That -10 penalty is huge. All right. Perception and initiative. Excuse me. Perception for initiative. Often you'll roll a perception check to determine your order in initiative. When you do this, instead of comparing the result against DC, everyone in the encounter will compare their results. The creature with the highest result acts first. Creature with the second highest goes second, and so on. Sometimes you may be called on to roll a skill check for initiative instead, but you'll compare results just as if you had rolled perception. Full rules for initiative are 468. That's the other thing that's kind of cool is you're not always going to do the same roll for initiative. You know, like if my character is stealthing, you know, he might have to make a stealth check instead. Or, you know, perception in this case. You know, it could be a lot of different things. All right. Special checks, flat checks. When the chance something will happen or fail to happen is based purely on chance, you'll attempt a flat check. A flat check never includes any modifiers, bonuses, or penalties. You just roll a d20 and compare the result. Only abilities that specifically apply to flat checks can change the check's DCs. If more than one flat check would ever cause or prevent the same thing, just roll once and use the highest DC. Okay, that sounds fine. Damage dice, modifiers, secret checks. Sometimes you as a player shouldn't know the exact result and effect of a check. In these situations, the rules or the GM will call for a secret check. The secret trait appears on anything that uses secret checks. This type of check uses the same formulas you normally would use for that check, but is rolled by the GM, who doesn't reveal the result. Instead, the GM simply describes the information or effects determined by the check's result. If you don't know a secret check is happening, for instance, if the GM rolls a secret fortitude save against a poison that you failed to notice, you can't use any fortune or misfortune abilities. Ooh. Okay. The GM can choose to make any check secret even if it's not usually rolled secretly. Conversely, the GM can let you roll any check yourself. I like that. I do that sometimes in my games. Weaknesses, resistances, damage types, bleed damage, precision damage, energy damage, mental damage, non-lethal attacks. You can make a non-lethal attack in an effort to knock someone out instead of killing them. Weapons with a non-lethal trait do this automatically. You take a -2 circumstance penalty to the attack roll when you make a non-lethal attack using a weapon that doesn't have the non-lethal trait. You also take this penalty when making a lethal attack using a non-lethal weapon. So what do you guys think of this little dude? I think he's looking really good. I think he looks awesome. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong? Okay. Lily's asleep?
Lily she could watch one episode or finish the episode she's on, then go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just getting updates about what downtown looks like right now.
Oh, is it crazy?
It is. Megan said she's never seen it this empty before because of the curfew.
Yeah, people left?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said it's like dead.
So there's no rioters tonight.
It's like terrifyingly quiet.
All the rioters from out of town must have went home.
Yeah.
Because they have to work tomorrow.
But she said the National Guard's there.
Oh, really?
Police are there. They called in the National Guard. Police are out.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I was like, I just want to go back to worrying about like normal worrying things.
Like COVID?
You know, just like, did I do the laundry? You know, whatever.
So there's a lot of conditions too. I'm gonna go get some more water and then I'll talk about conditions. I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, you're just gonna like abandon me?
Yeah, entertain the masses.
I don't even know what was going on.
Talk about your miniature.
Guys, I don't know about this miniature.
It looks great.
I really don't. Like, so the blue shirt fixed some issues. So I'll continue on down that road. I gotta do his little feather thing. This is a little, like, quill that's in his hat. So I'll do that. But, I mean, he's looking okay. He's okay. And then these will be, like, shimmer gold. You know, because that's what I do. So, I mean, it's looking okay. Maybe like something cool on his book. Or like I could make the straps on his book a different color. Yeah, I can make those gold too. He's got this weird knife. I left it all silver. I don't know, you guys. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But I think after this, so I did this the other night. There's no way I'm not gonna do shimmer. Like, I mean, that's real. Like, I'm gonna do that regardless. I gotta fix his trim. You know, because it's I guess you can see it better that way. It's a little questionable from last night. It was still drying when I finished it. So, I can never hold these right. So I'll fix him. Whatever. I give up. I think I'm gonna do him next. I think he's gonna be the next one. And so he wants me to make it so he's like diabolical. But we'll see.
Okay, I'm back. Don't worry. Did you entertain the masses?
I did. I'm such an entertaining person.
Yeah? They said a lot of stuff?
Yeah.
They said as much?
Yeah, see?
Cameron said shimmer.
Yeah, see, then you know I was talking.
You can use shimmer on him. Maybe his robe is shimmery.
So these little tassels are going to be.
Yeah?
And then, I mean, the end of his staff is.
Cool. Oh, man, we're down to 3 viewers. What the heck? We had 5 when I left. Look, we have more likes than views.
See, that's what happens when you leave me. I told you, I'm not an entertaining person.
Whatever. I disagree.
Like, plus, I wasn't out here, so I have no idea what you guys were talking about.
I was just talking about Pathfinder.
I know, but, like, I don't...
How initiative is determined by whatever you want it to be.
Look,
as a DM.
I'm concentrating on painting, like, so I've only absorbed so much information.
That's okay.
About Pathfinder at this point.
That's okay. I haven't absorbed it all either. We'll learn. We'll learn as we play. So, like, initiative is not just like, oh, you always get a bonus to your initiative of this number. Sometimes it uses perception, which is usually the case. But if you're like a rogue and you're stealthing, you might use stealth. If you're...
Oh, so it could be different for everybody, too. So it's
in
not
the same
even
round,
like,
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, the idea is it should be based on what you're actually doing at that time. Like, oh, Andrew's wizard is checking for traps on the door or whatever. And so he might make an Arcana check because he's looking for, like, magical traps. Whereas somebody else might be just using perception. And the rogue might be using stealth. Like... You know, you could have all sorts of different things. I keep saying stealth because that's like the most obvious one to me, other than perception. But yeah. So there's a lot of conditions. Blinded, broken, which broken only applies to items, it looks like. Clumsy, concealed, confused, controlled, dazzled, deafened, doomed, drained. Dying, encumbered, enfeebled, fascinated, fatigued, flat-footed, fleeing, friendly, frightened, grabbed, helpful, hidden, hostile, immobilized, indifferent, invisible, observed, paralyzed, persistent damage, petrified, prone, quickened, restrained, sickened, slowed, stunned, stupefied, unconscious, undetected, unfriendly, unnoticed, wounded.
So I assume then you're re-rolling for initiative every single round.
Maybe. Don't know. I didn't actually get there yet.
As much as I like rolling for initiative by combat,
I wouldn't do it
because
by
it speeds up everything, I really dislike it because you're always, if you're last, you're always last for the entire combat.
Right.
So I actually just like that.
I just like it because it speeds up combat if you don't roll.
Yeah, but like everybody should be able to process fast enough.
No.
Yeah, everybody
Our
should.
Tomb game, no. I'm the only one that processes what I'm going to do quickly.
I know, but I'm saying everybody should be able to process fast enough. Not everybody does.
Right. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think it works that way, hon. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Let's see. Oh, like, look at it. It's got all the templates. This looks like it's taken straight out of a 3.0 or 3.5 book. Look at this. This looks like it was taken exactly out, like copied.
It does.
So they've got the spell template or the area templates on page 456. Like, yeah, 30-foot diagonal and cones and orthogonal lines, burst. Anyways.
I think I'm going to change the...
I'm surprised you don't like that miniature. I really like it.
This guy?
Yeah, I think he's cool as hell.
Oh, like
I would use him as a dwarf. Yeah, I would 100% use him as a player character.
Yeah, I'm just not 100% attached to, I think, what I've done.
Gotcha.
So, it's fine.
Man, I think it's cool. Afflictions. Diseases and poisons are types of afflictions. It's getting into, like, very specific stuff that I don't think, like, happens all the time. Name and traits, saving throw. Okay. Knocked out and dying. Creatures cannot be reduced to fewer than 0 hit points. When most creatures reach 0 hit points, they die and are removed from play unless the attack was non-lethal, in which case they are instead knocked out for a significant amount of time. Usually 1 minute or more. When undead and construct creatures reach 0 hit points, they are destroyed. PCs, their companions, and other significant characters and creatures don't automatically die when they reach 0 hit points. Instead, they are knocked out and are at risk of death. At the GM's discretion, villains, powerful monsters, special NPCs, and enemies with special abilities that are likely to bring them back to the fight, like ferocity, regeneration, or healing magic, can use these rules as well. As a player character, when you are reduced to 0 HP, you're knocked out with the following effects. You immediately moved your initiative position to directly before the creature or effect that reduced you to 0 hit points. Okay. You gain the Dying One condition. If the effect that knocked you out was a critical success from the attacker, or the result of your critical failure, you gain the Dying Two condition instead. If you have the Wounded condition, increase your dying value by an amount equal to your wounded value. If the damage was dealt by a non-lethal attack or non-lethal effect, you don't gain the dying condition. You are instead unconscious with 0 hit points. Taking damage while dying. If you take damage while you already have the dying condition, increase your dying condition value by 1 or by 2 if the damage came from an attacker's critical hit or your own critical failure. If you have the wounded condition, remember to add the value, blah, blah, blah. When you're dying at the start of each of your turns, you must attempt a flat check with the DC equal to 10 plus your current dying value to see if you get better or worse. This is called a recovery check. The effects of this check are as follows. Critical success, your dying value is reduced by 2. Success, it's by 1. Failure, you die by 1. And dying value increases it by 2. Okay. So when are you dead? You would die upon reaching dying 3 instead of dying 4. Death. Your life is ebbing away, bringing you ever closer to death. Some powerful spells and evil creatures can inflict the doomed condition on you. No, it's a whole different thing. I don't know when you're dead. How many dying levels can you have?
I don't know. Does it like list them or?
No, it doesn't say that I can see yet. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of confusing. Kind of confusing. It should be right here. It says after you die, you can't act or be affected by spells that target creatures. When you die, you're reduced to 0 hit points. If you have at least 1 hero point, you can spend all of your remaining hero points at the start of your turn, or when your dying value would increase in order to return to 1 hit point, no matter how close to death you are. You lose the dying condition and become conscious. You do not gain the wounded condition when you perform a heroic recovery. Oh, that's kind of cool. Creature wounded by 1. You can wake up as described. Dying always includes a value. If this value ever reaches dying 4, you die.
Oh, okay.
So if it gets to 4, you die. So you could, in theory, move up and down that chart with successes and failures each turn without dying. That's kind of cool.
So you might end up getting more opportunities. So like, you know, whereas in like 5th edition, you know, usually when you're 3 rounds in on death saves, like, you know what's about to happen.
It's that second round that's sketchy, though. If you failed your first roll, like 1 crit fail, you're dead. If you get hit, you're dead. Like, it's really that second turn. That third turn, if you survive 2 turns, the third turn, you're pretty much going to die. Oops, sorry.
Dude.
Sorry. I didn't mean to hit it on the bottom. Sorry.
The worst.
I can't help it. I got the clumsy trait.
Clearly.
The clumsy condition. I'm a barbarian of the giant kind. Ooh, massive damage. You die instantly if you ever take damage equal to or greater than double max hit points in 1 blow. Some spells and abilities can kill you immediately or bring you closer to death without needing to reduce you to 0 hit points first. These abilities have the death trait and usually involve negative energy, the antithesis of life. If you are reduced to 0 hit points by a death effect, you are slain instantly without needing to reach dying 4. If an effect states it kills you outright, you die without having to reach dying 4 and without being reduced to 0 hit points. That sucks. That really sucks. Save or death. So I did figure out you can actually make more than 3 attacks in a round. There are some abilities that allow you to do 2 attacks as 1 action.
Oh.
So remember when I was reading before, I said it says it's 1 action, but it's letting you do 2 attacks. That's confusing. Remember that the other night?
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. So the 3rd level of penalties is the maximum penalty you'll have. So if you do... Can I help you?
Oh, you're just going to bed.
Okay, good night, Lily.
I love you, honey.
Um,
Thank you for helping.
Good night.
Okay.
So if you're... so you're able to do that as a single action, do those 2 attacks. That would be your first penalty, which is like -2, right? On that second attack. Then on your second action, you do another attack. Say it's the same thing. You're doing 2 more attacks. It's going to be the 3rd penalty, or no, the 2nd penalty, 3rd penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And then your final attack would also just be all the bad penalties, right? Like the worst penalty.
Gotcha.
So you could do multiple attacks like that. It's talking about movement, falling on a creature. You can grab an edge as a reaction. If you land on a creature, that creature must attempt a DC 15 reflex save. You fall about 500 feet in the first round of falling. and about 1,500 feet each round thereafter. What?
Well, then.
When you fall more than 5 feet, you take bludgeoning damage equal to half the distance you fell when you land. Treat falls longer than 1,500 feet as though they were 1,500 feet. 750 max damage.
Oh, good. I'm glad that they...
If you take any damage from a fall, you land prone. Wait. So 750 damage. Like, you can't get enough hit points to survive that.
That makes sense.
You can't, but I get that. But you can't get enough hit points to even justify why that's the cutoff point. Like, why did they choose that as the cutoff point? Like, okay, let's assume a barbarian. What's 20 times 12? That's only like, what, 200 and some odd? 240? Go read a book.
Lily, you barely even made it up to your bedroom. Go lay down. How am I supposed to sleep when I can't fall asleep? I don't know. Maybe you should try laying down in your bed first. Like you were just down here 2 seconds ago. 2 minutes. That's not even enough time to get inside, get all the way up to her room, and get in.
Don't ask me. Oh, I guess you would get your Constitution modifier.
You doing the math?
I'm going to do the math. So, I don't know how high up you can get your Constitution before you're level 20. But let's just assume it's 5 every level. Whatever. Plus 12 every level because you're a barbarian. That's only 17 times 20. I mean, that's 340. Like, even if you up it a little more, you're never going to get it over 400. You're never going to get it over 500. Like, why did they choose 750? Does that...
I don't know.
Is that weird that I'm hung up on that?
Because maybe they're going to set out...
Or a monster?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're going to send out an expansion pack for,
Level 30 play?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sure people would love that stuff.
Light, bright light, dim light, darkness, senses, precise senses, imprecise senses, vague senses, special senses. My goodness.
There's so many senses.
Yeah, but I'm sure most of it doesn't come into play that often. That's what I have to keep telling myself as I go through here. I'm like, yeah, it's got these like very specific things, but how often are you really going to see this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know.
Concealment, hero points. So this is interesting to me. So your heroic deeds are new hero points, which grant you good fortune or let you recover from the brink of death. Unlike most aspects of your character, which persist over the long term, hero points last for only a single session. The GM is in charge of awarding hero points. Usually each character gets 1 hero point at the start of a session and can gain more later by performing heroic deeds, something selfless, daring, or beyond normal expectations. You can have a maximum of 3 hero points at a time, and you lose any remaining hero points at the end of a session. So if we start streaming this, maybe that's one of the viewer perks we do. We do like hero points, and let viewers, like if they want to contribute like a donation or something, maybe we allow them to buy hero points. And we open it to more than 3. And automatically, like minimum, players start a session with 1. You know what I mean? That might be cool. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
3 hero points at a time and lose the remaining hero points at the end of a session. Maybe we won't do that part also. I don't know. You can spend your hero points in one of 2 ways. Neither of these is an action, and you can spend hero points even if you aren't able to act. You can spend a hero point on behalf of your familiar or animal companion. Spend 1 hero point to re-roll a check. You must use the second result. This is a fortune effect, which means you can't use more than 1 hero point on a check. Basically like having lucky. Spend all your hero points, minimum of 1, to avoid death. You can do this when your dying condition would increase. You lose the dying condition entirely and stabilize with 0 hit points. You don't gain the wounded condition or increase its value. Whoa. So this is saying you lose the dying condition entirely and stabilize at 0. However, a few pages ago, it said that you actually get 1 hit point. Yeah, it says you lose the dying condition and become conscious. You don't gain the wounded condition. Yeah, you return to 1 hit point. So that's a contradiction. So under hero points, it says you are at 0 points and stabilize. Under heroic recovery on page 460, it says you're at 1 hit point and conscious. Interesting. I think I like the idea of being at 1 hit point and conscious to get the players back in the fight. And I do know that they have released errata, which I'm sure that's covered there. So I'll have to look that up later. I do like that, though. I like that ability in general. I think it's a good one. All right.
Sorry, I'm really focused.
No, you're good. Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, there you go. I'm having fun. You can be focused. Describing heroic deeds. Because spending hero points reflects heroic deeds or tasks that surpass normal expectations, if you spend a hero point, you should describe the deed or task your character accomplishes with it to the other players. Your character's deed might invoke a lesson learned in the past adventure, could be spurred by a determination to save someone else, or might depend on an item that ended up in their possession due to a previous exploit. If you don't want to describe the deed or don't have any strong ideas about how to do so, ask the GM to come up with something for you. This can be a collaborative process too. The GM might remind you of a long-forgotten event in the campaign, and all you have to do is fill in how that event comes to mind just at the right time, motivating you to push past your limits. I like that it's encouraging roleplay there. Encounter mode. Once everyone in the encounter has taken a turn, the round is over and the next one begins. Don't roll initiative again. The new round proceeds in the same order as the previous one, repeating the cycle until the encounter ends.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
so
Paula.
It does stay in the same.
Roll initiative.
It's okay.
When the GM calls for it, you'll roll initiative to determine your place in the initiative order, which is the sequence in which, we know. Typically, you roll a perception check to determine your initiative. The more aware you are of your surroundings, the more quickly you can respond. Sometimes, though, the GM might call on you to roll some other type of check. For instance, if you were avoiding notice during exploration, you'd roll a stealth check. A social encounter could call for a deception or a diplomacy check. The GM rolls initiative for anyone other than the player characters in the encounter. If these include a number of identical creatures, the GM could roll once for the group as a whole and have them take their turns within the group in any order. However, this can make battles less predictable and more dangerous, so the GM might want to roll initiative for some or all creatures individually, unless it's too much of a burden. Unlike a typical check, where the result is compared to a DC, the results of initiative rolls are ranked. If your result is tied with a foe's result, the adversary goes first. If your result is tied with another PC's, you can decide between yourselves who goes first when you reach that place in the initiative order. After that, your places in the initiative order usually don't change during the encounter. So the enemy on a tie goes first.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. Turns, end your turn, basic actions. You know, something that I thought would be cool in an RPG is having like combinations, like teamwork abilities.
Yeah.
And I don't...
That sounds cool.
I'm sure it's out there in some RPGs, but I haven't seen it. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could say, I'm going to hold my action, like a real quick thing at the table, like you've got 4 players. Obviously, you have to go in initiative order, but the first player could say, hey, I want to do this combo effect with this person. And so in turn, you either bring that person up or you drop it back to there. And you both lose your turn that round, but you get to do something cool together. Like, that would be awesome.
I think that would be cool.
We need to work that into an RPG.
We need to make that happen.
We need to come up with some kind of house rule for 5e like that.
You just got to come up with some combos.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do it. We're going to call it the Killer Combos. Killer Combos. Bam. All right. I feel like I've had some all right ideas tonight. Put that up there. So let's see. We had something earlier. Do you remember what it was? No?
No.
Collaborate. So I'll just say it's multiple characters collaborate on an action. And then I'll just have to come up with some and work it in there. Somehow. I don't know. I like hero points. Hero points are cool. I do like those. Oh, spells. We were talking about spells. So hero points. And then spells being like 1 through 20 and being based on mana. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I had to jot my notes down. Otherwise, I'll forget them. All right. Specialty basic actions. What is all this stuff?
Yeah, I'm mostly done with him.
He looks sweet. I like him a lot.
Needs like a little bit of stuff on like the base or whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever I decide to do any of that stuff.
We're going to do it this week on a weeknight that we're not streaming. Like Tuesday or Thursday. We'll just come out and we'll get them all finished.
We'll do this guy next.
Yeah. You know what colors? Are we sticking with the green and purple?
No.
What are you thinking of doing? Red and purple? Red for his scales?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking that his outfit's uncharacteristically going to be black.
Ooh, I like it.
With like maybe a red trim.
Oh, that would be cool.
And then I don't know what color dragon I would make him.
Originally we said green, then we said red. I mean, as a red dragon, having a black and red isn't bad. Right?
Yeah.
I dig it.
Might make him yellow and orange kind of colored dragon. With black and red clothes. It's going to be like burgundy and black.
What about like an orange and reddish skin instead of yellow and orange?
Yeah, my only thought on the yellow and orange is that I think it's going to make the red on the clothing look better.
Gotcha. Is there going to be that much red in the clothing, you think?
No, it's all this trim work. You see all this trim and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be red.
Okay. I'll see it as you do it. I'm not gonna.
It'll be shimmer red.
Will he look like a red dragon? You think because of the yellow and orange?
No, he's gonna look like an orange dragon.
There's no such thing as an orange dragon.
No,
I mean, there
what?
can be.
Now
I'm
there's
just saying.
a fucking orange dragon. Why do we have to be real colors? What's real?
I don't know.
I mean,
There's mechanics tied to colors.
I don't know.
He's an orange dragon. So what is that? Fire weapon? Is it citrus damage? Like, what is that?
It's gonna be like the LARPing guy with magic missile.
Yeah.
Or firebolt. It's gonna be like
It's
orange.
tangerine flavored.
Orange. Tangerine
Any method
flavored.
used to track the initiative order needs to be flexible because the order can change. A creature can use the delay basic action to change its place in the order, in which case you can erase it from the list or pull its marker aside until it re-enters the initiative order. When a creature gets knocked out, its initiative order also changes.
Cameron loves the citrus damage. He's
Citrus
all
damage.
about it.
It's acid damage. Citrus acid. So that's interesting. Remember how we've said you can't delay?
I should not start this. It's 11 o'clock.
Is it? It's not 11. It's 10:40. 10:44.
That's like 11 o'clock by the time you shut up.
Do you want to try and paint Tuesday?
Possibly.
Okay. Then let's try to aim for Tuesday.
I can start this guy. I mean, at least I'm not making him a pink dragon. I can make him pink. Pink would look great.
No.
It would look stellar next to black and red trim to have a pink.
Do you want to paint a dragon pink? Not that one, but do you want to paint a dragon pink?
Sure, I'm just saying. It'd be
I can pick one out
fantastic.
specifically for you to paint it pink.
Okay. I'm just saying. All I was saying is that it would look fabulous. Otherwise, black with a pink trim would also
I would call the pink dragon the
awesome.
albino red dragon. That's what I'll call him.
Albino would be white.
Well, he can't, that's why it's pink. He's mostly albino.
He's light red.
He's light
Oh,
red.
God.
Yes, like in red versus blue.
It's such a
Look at all
man
these
thing.
standard, like I like how they do this. So here's your basic actions. It's got like crawl.
Look
drop,
at, I have
boom.
fluorescent pink paint.
Gosh. Yeah, it won't be next turn. I'll figure something out though. You can paint something pink. Just it's gonna be a bit. Maybe it's more of a lizard man or something, or a frog guy or something.
Whatever. Watch it look amazing, and you're gonna be like, "Oh
No.
man, maybe I should let you do that." I could do black with pink trim though.
Bet you could painfully cure some scurvy with that citrus damage. What'd you say about black and pink?
I could do the outfit in black with pink trim.
And make him a red dragon?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. If
wanna
you want
do
to
that?
incorporate pink into him, make him a red dragon. Yeah, I wanted
Okay.
him to be a red dragon really
I'm
bad.
making a red dragon, black
With pink trim.
pink trim.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it's gonna look great. Like you're gonna love it.
I hope so.
You are.
I hope so.
It's probably not gonna be black. It's gonna be really deep gray.
Right. I got
So
you.
that you can still get the
The depth.
yup
I got you.
with pink.
Point out is an action? Wow, okay. This is so good. I can't wait to play this. Like, the tactics of all this that I'm looking at in the end of this chapter, like, I feel like this is going to be a game that I'm going to really enjoy playing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is solid. Oh, that is some cool artwork right there. Check that out.
Oh, that is cool.
That's the druid and the barbarian. Okay, so we're done for the night then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching, Cameron. Anyone else who's still with us. I'm going to continue reading this book. I'm going to even do my own little scenarios to see how things work in combat. Like just, kind of simulate some stuff on my own, just to figure this out and learn the system a little better. And you know, we'll see if I can get a review up in the next 2 weeks, hopefully, before I play it.
Holy crap! Somebody says that The Witcher is set for 7 complete seasons.
That's awesome.
Shit, that's great.
That is great. Love that show. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry we were off to a slow start tonight. I will try to go back and timestamp it tomorrow with when we actually started painting miniatures. I think it was at about the 30-minute mark. But again, thank you for being patient. Really enjoyed having you here. And hopefully you found me reading Pathfinder kind of interesting. I know we haven't been going back and forth like we usually do, but I've enjoyed going through this book on stream with you guys. And, you know, hopefully you've enjoyed it too. And yeah, so with that, game on.